Welcome back, everybody. Get ready for another deep dive. Today, we're going way back to the Jurassic period, about 150 million years ago to meet this creature. It's pretty fascinating, to say the least. It's changing how we think about, how birds evolved.
Yeah, it all starts with this fossil discovery, pretty recent over in China, a nearly complete skeleton of a bird. They're calling it Baminornis zhenghensis.
Baminornis. Right, I remember seeing that name. It's about the size of a quail? I read that somewhere.
Yeah, about that size. And it's causing quite a stir, I guess you could say. In the paleontology world, that is.
Well, yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah.
We've got, let's see here, some research papers, even some field notes from the excavation site. I want to dig in and see what all the fuss is about.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, one of the most interesting things about this is actually where they found it.
Oh.
Yeah, Zhenghe County in Fujian Province, China. It's the southernmost location globally, for preserved alveoli fossils from this period.
Okay, AVLA. For those of us, who maybe need a refresher, we're talking, what, early bird ancestors?
Exactly, yeah. Early bird ancestors.
But why is the location, why is that such a big deal? I don't get it.
Well, Zhenghe County, you see, it's unique, geologically speaking. It's got these ancient lakes and basins that formed, between volcanic eruptions. Just perfect for preserving fossils.
Ah, okay, so it's like this, like a perfect little time capsule.
Pretty much. But the thing is, finding alveoli fossils this far south, it's really pushing the boundaries of where we thought these early birds, existed.
So it's not just the bird itself, it's the location that's kind of adding to the mystery of it all.
Right, exactly.
But let's get back to Baminornis. This isn't just another fossil, right?
No, definitely no.
The researchers are calling it a game changer.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong statement. What makes this so special? What makes it a game changer?
Well, you're right. Game changer isn't something, we scientists throw around lightly.
Yeah.
The most remarkable feature, I think, of Baminornis is its pygostyle.
Pygostyle. Now, I'll admit I had to do a little research on that one. Bird anatomy isn't, my specialty.
Yeah.
So pygostyle, that's the fused tailbone, the one we see in modern birds today.
You got it. Exactly.
So a tailbone, what's the big deal?
Well, it might seem, like a small detail, but it has huge implications for flight.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so the pygostyle, it allowed for the attachment of, strong tail feathers, the kind birds use for, steering and braking. Makes flight much more well-controlled.
So Baminornis had this advanced tail structure way back in the Jurassic.
Yeah.
That means this crucial adaptation for flight, it evolved much earlier than we initially thought.
Precisely. And to make things even more interesting, Baminornis it's not just a bird, in dinosaurs' clothing.
Right.
It's got it's like a fascinating mix of traits. It's got bird-like shoulders and pelvis, perfectly structured for bipedal movement, just like its dinosaur ancestors. But its hands.
Its hands? What about them?
Well, they look more like something you'd see on a theropod dinosaur. Those classic 3 fingers.
Wow, so it's like evolution was experimenting, trying to figure out the perfect blueprint for a bird. If scientists could go back in time and see this thing in action, can you imagine? They'd probably lose their mind.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But joking aside, this mosaic of traits, this mix, that's what makes Baminornis so significant. It shows us that evolution isn't always a straight line. It's more like a branching path. Lots of experimentation going on.
It's a good reminder, I guess, that we're still figuring it all out. The story of bird evolution, and each new discovery can add a whole new chapter to that story. But what really gets me about all this? They found Baminornis in the same area as another incredible fossil, that one from 2023, Fujian prodigiosus.
You got it.
Talk about a paleontological hotspot.
Absolutely. The Zhenghe Fauna, that's where they found both of these creatures. It's like a snapshot of a lost world. Just a glimpse into a Jurassic ecosystem teeming with life, and finding these 2 bird-like creatures in the same region, it tells us there's more to the story of early bird evolution than we first thought.
Okay, so we've got this amazing new bird fossil that's pushing the boundaries of what we know about bird evolution, and it's one piece of a much larger puzzle.
Right.
This Zhenghe fauna sounds like a gold mine for understanding this this period?
I'm
Already hooked. Let's talk more about this Jurassic ecosystem. What other creatures are they finding there?
Oh, well, you're gonna have to hold on to your hat because the Zhenghe fauna isn't just about birds. We're talking a diverse collection of fossils, from fish, amphibians, reptiles, even a whole range of plants.
Wow. Sounds like a real Jurassic jungle out there.
You could say that, yeah, a real jungle. Lush forests, sparkling lakes, creatures of all shapes and sizes.
That's amazing.
We're finding fossils of fish, the kind that swam in those ancient waters.
Yeah.
And amphibians, they would hopped along the shores. And reptiles, probably lurking in the undergrowth.
Wow, it really paints this picture, of this lost world. It's like you can almost hear it, the sounds of the forest. Feel the humid air.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But this is more than just like a collection of interesting fossils, right? What is this diversity? What does it tell us about the environment, the one Baminornis lived in, and how it might have evolved?
That's a good question. The diversity of the Zhenghe fauna, well, it tells us that this was a thriving ecosystem, and that has big implications for bird evolution, I mean.
How so?
Well, a complex environment like this, it would have presented a lot of opportunities, ecologically speaking, that is. Different food sources, different habitats, and all of that, it could have driven the evolution of different bird lineages.
So it's like this burst of evolutionary creativity, I guess, fueled by the environment itself.
Exactly.
So the more diverse the ecosystem, the more opportunities for different species to evolve.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And remember, Fujian prodigiosis.
The other bird-like creature, right?
Yes. Its discovery in the same area, well, it supports this idea that bird evolution, it wasn't a simple process, a straight line.
Right.
It was happening all over the place with different lineages, branching out, experimenting with different traits.
Okay, I'm trying to keep up. So we've got Baminornis with its cool mix of bird and dinosaur features, and then Fujian venator, which also has some bird-like traits, but it's distinct from Baminornis. It's like the early bird world was just this wild mix of different forms, each one trying to, find its place, its niche.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And it challenges that traditional view, of bird evolution as a straight line.
Right.
From dinosaurs to birds, it seems like there were all these different lineages evolving, alongside each other, each one with its own unique set of adaptations.
You know what? It makes me wonder, what would happen if we could, somehow bring these creatures back to life. Imagine seeing a Baminornis, flitting through the trees, or a Fujian venator running along the ground.
I think it would be incredible, and probably a little mind-boggling. But even without a time machine, we can still piece together their stories through the fossil record.
Right. Speaking of piecing things together, we've got this amazing snapshot of a Jurassic ecosystem, and we've got these incredible bird-like creatures, and we're learning that early bird evolution, well, it was a lot more complex than we first thought. What does this all mean for our understanding of how birds came to be? I mean, they're so diverse, so successful today.
Well, I think the main takeaway here is that we're still really early on, in our understanding of bird evolution. I mean, each new discovery, well, it has the potential to rewrite the textbooks.
It's almost like we're detectives,
Yeah.
uncovering clues, trying to reconstruct a crime scene. But in this case, it's an evolutionary mystery, and it spans millions of years. And the Zhenghe fauna, well, it's a treasure trove of evidence.
Exactly. And with all the research going on at the site, well, who knows what other secrets we might uncover. This is just the beginning of the story.
Okay, so we've explored this fascinating world of the Zhenghe fauna, met some incredible creatures along the way, and we've learned that early bird evolution was a dynamic process and complex, and we're still piecing together all the details. But where do we go from here? What are the big questions, the ones that paleontologists are grappling with now?
That's a great question. One of the biggest mysteries that remains is, well, how did birds become so successful? I mean, just look around us. They're everywhere, from the tiniest hummingbirds to majestic eagles. Over 10,000 species. They're one of the most diverse groups of animals on Earth.
Yeah, and they've adapted to almost every environment imaginable, from scorching deserts to icy tundras. It's really remarkable.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they went from these small feathered creatures to dominating the skies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what were the key adaptations, the ones that allowed birds to become so successful. Was it flight, or was it something else?
Well, flight definitely played a big role for sure. It opened up entirely new ecological niches, and it allowed birds to, spread out to every corner of the globe. But there were other crucial adaptations too, like the development of lightweight bones and efficient respiratory systems and their incredible navigational ability.
It's like all these different pieces, they just came together, and created this perfect formula for avian success.
Exactly. And it wasn't a one-time thing. Bird evolution, well, it's an ongoing process. They're constantly adapting.
Evolving.
To new challenges and new opportunities.
So while Baminornis gives us this amazing glimpse into the early stages, of bird evolution, it's just one chapter. A much longer and more complex story.
Right, exactly. And that story, it's still being written. Every new fossil discovery, it adds another piece to the puzzle. It helps us, to better understand the incredible journey of birds from their dinosaurian ancestors to the diverse creatures that we see today.
This has been an amazing deep dive, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. I'm already thinking about what other secrets the Zhenghe Fauna holds.
I know, it's like a time capsule, just waiting to be opened. Every time they dig a little deeper, they uncover something new, something exciting.
But before we wrap up, I have one more question. You mentioned how birds have adapted to so many different environments. What are some of the most extreme examples of bird adaptation? The ones that you find particularly fascinating?
Oh, there are so many, but one that always comes to mind is the bar-headed goose.
Bar-headed goose, okay.
Yeah, these incredible birds. They migrate over the Himalayas.
No way, over the Himalayas?
Yeah, flying at altitudes that would leave most other animals, gasping for air. They've got these amazing physiological adaptations, that allow them to cope with the thin atmosphere and the extreme cold.
Wow. Flying over Mount Everest. That's taking bird migration to the extreme.
It really is a remarkable feat, and it just goes to show how adaptable birds are, how resilient. It makes you wonder, what other incredible adaptations are out there, just waiting to be discovered.
It really does. That's a great question to ponder, and a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey back in time. Who knows what amazing discoveries await us in the world of paleontology. Until next time, keep exploring, and remember, there's always more to learn.